Alright, good morning, folks. I just want to say good morning to everybody. Let me give you a look around the Times Square. It's about 5:30 in the morning. And just the first few folks are getting up, starting to stir. You can hear roosters crowing and dogs barking. You know, the sun comes up over these mountains over here. And then, you know, that's where it sets right over there. And I certainly enjoy watching the sunset every night. And a lot of times, check out my throne, got the disco lights going down. Yeah, so a lot of times I do like to get up early and just be out here with the coolness of the early morning air. And traditionally, I'm not a morning person. I'll be straight with you. If I'm up at 4 or 5 in the morning, it's because I'm coming home from the club. I'm coming home from an all-nighter. But you know, as I get older, I've talked about, I certainly enjoy these mornings more and more when I find myself up. And the thing about it is, you know, like when you're trying to work from home, and maybe that's what the title of this video will be. This little quick video that I guess is sort of like advice when you're working from home. If you're working from home right now during the current times, and you're gonna find it frustrating if you've never worked from home before, like really tried to put in an 8-hour day from your house. You know, my old man always said you can never have a home office. It just doesn't work. It's so hard running the business out of your home because there's too many distractions. You know, the wife, the kids, you know, the shit that needs to get fixed at your house. It's hard for you to concentrate on an 8, 10, 12-hour day of putting in effort at your work. Now, you know, running the YouTube channel and do what I do, it is work. The filming part is fun, but the editing, the uploading, the maintenance, you know, dealing with the website, you know, that's work, believe it or not. And what I found is, you know, even if you have your own little separate office and you lock the door, people are still going to knock on the door, you know. And I love it when she brings Forrest G to see me. You know, I love my kids. But every time they walk in my little office when I'm trying to, you know, do some work and I'm concentrating, it is an interruption. So how do you mitigate that? And the way I mitigate that is I work when everybody else is asleep. You know, I go to bed at night, and if I get up to take a piss at 2 in the morning, I just stay up. And like right now, everybody's sleeping away. You know, wife number one, girlfriend number one, they're in there just crashed out, getting a good night's rest. The baby's asleep. You know, I've been working for several hours with no distractions. And so by the time they get up and I start my day, you know, they start their day, we start our day together. I've done enough work where the distractions aren't going to keep me from getting everything done that day that I need to get done. And so that's just kind of a tip. If you're stuck at home right now, you know, due to the lockdown, the self-quarantine, the stay-at-home order, whatever you want to call it, and you're around your family, to avoid any frustration by just like pulling your hair out and telling your old lady or telling your husband or your kids, hey, stop coming to my office, I gotta work. The better option is for you to, you know, put everybody to bed, you know, go to bed at a reasonable hour, and then get up at 2 or 3 and then work. So figure, I don't even know what time I got up, 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know, I can put in 5 good hours of work uninterrupted, which is the equivalent of you working 12 hours with interruptions. And so that's my advice. If I simplify the advice of this video, if you're at home, working from home, due to these quarantines, I would say, wake your ass up. Get 4 hours of sleep. Wake yourself up at 2. Work from 2 until whenever your family gets up and starts their day. And then you can be a lot more tolerant. You can do a little bit of work throughout the day, but you've already done the majority of what you have to do. And let's face it, folks, if you work in a cubicle, you're a government worker, you have an office job. You ever see that movie Office Space? If you haven't seen that movie Office Space from the 80s, it's a fucking classic. Well, the dude's like doing that interview. The main character is doing his interview with the corporate killers, the efficiency experts. What are they called? The 2 Daves. Basically, he's interviewing for his job. But the dude was hypnotized, so he's telling the truth about everything. So he tells them, basically I come in late, I space out at my desk, take a long lunch. Basically on any given day, I only do about 2 hours of real work. And that's true for most people sitting in a fucking cubicle, right? Between all the distractions and gossip around the office and hanging out around the water cooler and bullshit meetings. Truly, you probably do 2 or 3 hours of actual work. And so my advice to you, get up at 2 or 3 in the morning when everybody in your household is sleeping. Do the majority of your work during those quiet, calm hours where it's just you, your computer. Now, if you have to talk to people on the phone and stuff like that, I understand maybe that don't work. But if you've got, emails to answer, or you need to concentrate, pull data, do some research, you can't do that with your kids running in and out of your home office, knocking on your door, your spouse interrupting you, asking questions, what do you want for lunch? And so that's what works for me. I'm just, I'm doing what I'm doing, running YouTube, all my online stuff. And that's the easiest thing for me. And I have such a better day. Because by the time they wake up, most of my shit's done. And then I'm just on cruise control throughout the day. I'm not stressed out. I can deal with the distractions. Because all the tedious shit that I have to concentrate on, I did it while everybody was sleeping. So, I'm sitting here about to watch the sun come up. I'm already on my 3rd beer. And I'm gonna tell you that so I can, just rattle the cages of all the people who tell me not to drink. But the difference is I've been up since fucking 2. I've been working, let's see, 3, 4, 5. I've been working almost 4 hours. I've been at work for half a day. So it's time for a beer. It's time for a beer and watch the sun come up. Let the ladies and the baby sleep as late as they want to. And I'll finish what I got to do. And then we just all have a great day. No stress. I don't got to really close the door to my office to keep everybody out. Because kids don't understand that. Your kids don't understand why you're working at home and you got to close the door to your home office and telling them, hey, you can't bother me. Kids are kids. They don't understand that. So just mitigate it by working while they're sleeping, and just adjust your biological clock, your circadian rhythm, and life will be all right. I know you're not used to being stuck at home. You're used to your schedule. But these are the times we find ourselves in. Take lemons, make lemonade, deal with it. We'll all persevere through this. We will get through this shit, and at some point, somebody's gonna hit the play button again. Life will go back to being life. Probably with some changes that'll stay in effect, but at some point the play button has to be pushed, But for now, if you're cooped up in your house, that's my recommendation. Just do your work do your work at night when everybody else is sleeping. Everybody will get along a lot better. Trust me. Folks, starting to get brighter. Starting to get brighter, so like I said, eventually the sun will come up over that hill over there. Still quiet here on Times Square. We do have the one little sorry store here / restaurant. They put together takeout plates, and we've got the store over here open. And you know, this is since this lockdown, if we don't go way up to the main market, this little place right here has fresh vegetables. And our lady with the chicken and the fish, she parks her bicycle right here, and they always have meat. Actually, yesterday they had pork too. And just look around, folks. I mean, the streets are empty. You know, every day seems to have a different little vibe to it during this lockdown. And if you're not familiar, or if you've just joined my channel, you know, I'm here in the Philippines. I'm right off of Subic Bay. Just kind of nestled up to the mountains that are maybe, I don't know, what are we, one kilometer from Subic Bay. Here's Zambales province in the Philippines. So we're under the Luzon Enhanced Community Quarantine, a 14-day home quarantine from Subic Town. 6-month state of calamity. Every day the rules get tighter. You know, a couple days ago they banned the alcohol and liquor sales, and you know, that's just what's going on. But we're fine. We're fine. We're living life. You know, last night we did a live stream cooking show. I want to thank everybody. There was like 364 people at one point that were watching our live stream. And again, I remember back when, you know, I hit 50, and I was like, holy shit, there's 50 people watching me right now live around the world. Then you hit 100, you know, then you hit 150, then you hit 200. Now we broke the 350 mark. 350 people at one time watching our live stream. That is cool as hell. And at the same time, by the time we cut the live stream and I was standing here and we were cooking, I looked down and it was 22,000 subscribers. So I want to say thanks to everybody who subscribes to our channel. And if you're not, that bottom right hand corner of your screen, hit that road sign, get on board our channel. We appreciate it. You know, everybody here on the channel that watches our videos and listens to my voice. You know, YouTube is an income stream, and everything you do for us, leaving a comment, thumbs up, thumbs down, good comment, negative comment, you know, you're allowing me to continue to live this lifestyle that I live over here, and I'm very thankful. So if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. They say if you don't ask people at least 3 times during a video to subscribe, they won't. I guess that's the psychology, but you got to ask people 3 times. So I'm going to sit out here, folks, on the balcony. You know, beautiful balcony here at the penthouse with my cooking table, my grill, my throne over there with the solar disco lights. You know, and I'm not lying, that little solar panel, and I know this, you may not be impressed by this, but I showed you on a different video, but this little damn solar panel right here that was just a few dollars off Lazada. I've ordered 2. The first one took a shit after a couple days, but this guy right here is a fucking champion. I mean, literally, these lights will flash until the sun comes up every night. That little solar panel right there, I've got lights. So when Lazada goes back to shipping, I'm going to get enough solar lights to just electrify the whole damn balcony here. I mean, what am I going to be out? $20, $30? Electrify the cooking table, maybe the grill. Just turn this whole place into a solar energy, you know, place of efficiency here. where I film a lot of cooking shows, and we spend a lot of time on this balcony. And to be honest, I mean, we spent a lot of time out here even before this lockdown. I mean, how can you not love it? I got a view of the mountain, beautiful palm tree. I watch the sunset. If you want to people watch, you can just stand here and people watch. You got this beautiful cooking table, which obviously we didn't get it cleaned up last night, courtesy of my buddy Johnny up at the bamboo shop. You know, Johnny made this table for me, and he's also the one who makes the bamboo furniture. He's right across from the Walter Mart up there in Subic Town. If you're interested, just tell him that Marcos sent you. He's got a fair price. I'm not going to say it's the cheapest price. I mean, you could hire some local guy and contract him to do it if you want, but it's much easier just to go up there and pick out exactly what you want, and Johnny will deliver it on his damn tricycle. If you want to customize something, he'll customize it for you. Well, folks, I just want to say good morning. Thanks for joining us on the live stream. And I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about today, but once the sun comes up and I start working on my tan, I'll bust out the camera and tell some stories. You know, and if you've never been outside the West, you know, shopping habits of folks in the West is totally different from folks, you know, in places from Central South America, Asia, Southeast Asia. Our shopping habits are totally different. You know, in America, I would go to Walmart once a week, you know, load up $200 worth of groceries, stock up the freezer. You know, that's the way we shop. You know, you make a trip to the supermarket, you're gonna fill up the cart most of the time, fill up the ref, fill up the refrigerator, fill up the pantry. It doesn't work that way outside the West. People in places that I just mentioned, they shop on a daily basis. People don't have big refrigerators. A lot of people still don't have refrigerators because it's not in their culture. They go to the market every day. They buy enough fresh vegetables and meat, fish, you know, chicken, whatever they're going to buy to cook for that day. And we do the same thing here. Now, we are fortunate in this, I mean, this little place we're living at is awesome. We actually have a full-size refrigerator. But that's the first time living here in the Philippines that I've ever lived in a place that I had a full-size refrigerator. And for American standards, it's a small one. But for here, it's a huge one. And so our shopping habits are different. And I guess what brought it up, I just sit here and I'm watching people watching the traffic go by. And you see this beautiful girl, you know, what is it, 5:30, 6 in the morning, she's walking, goes to the Sorry store, and you see her walking out, and her purchase was a little thing, when I say little thing, a small plastic bag, like a tube about that much, of cooking oil. Now folks, it is just enough cooking oil to pour in a pan and make one dish. So she probably went up there, I don't know how much it was, 5 pesos. Because they'll take, you know, people typically don't buy a big tall bottle of cooking oil unless, you know, you're running a restaurant. I mean, maybe the middle class do that now, but folks around here that are living, you know, day by day on their income, they don't buy in bulk. They don't have the buying power to buy in bulk. So just watching her, you know, they got up in the morning, they obviously have food and they're ready to cook, but they don't have any oil. So she walks all the way to the Sorry store, and she buys a little small plastic bag of oil. It's just basically enough oil to cook one dish. That was her purchase. Walked all the way here. Now she's walking all the way back. Now she's got enough to cook, you know, one pan of food, whatever she's gonna cook. And you know, probably by tonight, when she needs to cook tonight, she's gonna walk her ass back over here when she picks up her vegetables and her meat, and she'll get another little, like a little one-hitter thing of cooking oil. And a lot of people, that's how they shop, especially during this pandemic where, you know, people the world over are hurting for money right now because they can't work. And so when money gets tight, money gets short, especially if you're going to shop like that, you know. There's no buying in bulk here. Not many people buying in bulk. So, I don't know, I just thought I'd share that with you. I'll just, you know, she come out of the side street over there. Beautiful girl, caught my eye. And then I watch her. And she walks all the way over here and just buys a one-hitter thing of oil. And I just figured I would share that with you. A few more people starting to stir, but this is not typical of Times Square in the morning. You know, typical Times Square in the morning is a flurry of activity of, you know, tricycles lined up, people going to work. I mean, it's a flurry of activity. And now, this is Friday, March something. This is day, I think, 11. I think it's day 11 of the lockdown. But that's the view right there. The only people that are up this morning are the people who run the Sorry stores, and that young lady setting up her booth over there. But there's no work traffic, obviously. You know, it's just getting quieter and quieter by the day. Okay, so let's take a quick gander at the sun hitting those mountains in the distance over there. And those are like the beginning of the mountains on the far side of Subic Bay. So like Subic Bay goes around like that. I guess you can't see my finger, but Subic Bay is going around like that. So these are like the beginning of the mountains that go around Subic Bay. But that sunlight starts hitting the mountains over there a long time, obviously, before it starts hitting us, because we're in the shadow of these little hills over here. There's a flock of pigeons flying around over there, and I think that those pigeons belong to somebody. I think he keeps those pigeons over there, so he lets them out and they fly together in a flock, and they fly around 3 or 4 times. And I'm not a big fan of pigeons because you know, pigeons can totally destroy your place, shitting on the roof, shitting on your balcony, whatever. I mean, pigeon shit will destroy concrete, everything. I'm not a fan of pigeons at all, but I think this dude keeps those pigeons over there. And so right now they're out on exercise, and then they'll return to the roost over there. And pigeons are actually interesting animals. If you ever watch a documentary about pigeons, like their lungs and their respiratory system allows them to fly great distances, and pigeons sort of have some type of built-in GPS system that scientists don't really understand. But they've strapped GPSs on pigeons, and, you know, taking pigeons and drop them off in the middle of nowhere, you know, and a pigeon's going to beat you home every time. But they plotted the tracks of how these pigeons, you know, orient themselves, and there's still like a debate, I guess, of whether or not they orient with the, you know, celestial bodies like the sun, the moon, the stars. But if you watch a GPS track, when they drop a pigeon off in the middle of nowhere, that thing will make like a wide loop. Like he'll start doing like an orbit, and he'll do a wide orbit, and all of a sudden the dude starts flying in the direction of his house. Like fucking magic. Like he's got a built-in GPS. And then you take him and you drop him off the second time, his loop won't be as wide. And so somehow they have some type of built-in GPS that allows them to initially orient, and after they've flown the route once, it's like they're navigating off of landmarks. They're amazing creatures. They're amazing creatures, between their, somehow built-in GPS navigational system and their respiratory system that allows them to fly great distances. Other than that, they're a fucking nuisance if you own a house or a damn business, because if they're always shitting everywhere and fucking costing you money and destroying things. So I'm not a fan of pigeons in that sense, but as far as animals, they're very interesting, and we got a lot to learn about how they do what they do. And the bad thing is, like, if you have a pigeon problem, you can't catch a pigeon and release it in the wild. It'll beat you home. The only way to get rid of a pigeon, you got to kill the damn thing. You got to dispatch it. Look there, beautiful. Flying together, but like I said, I think they have a roost over there. Somebody's keeping them pigeons. And they're still flying. They're just running racetracks around that house that they took off from. So I guess this is just their exercise for the day, yard leave. And at some point, due to call them back in, I guess, and they just return to the roost. And a couple more interesting facts while these pigeons are still flying. I was watching this documentary years ago, and the way that they train these racing pigeons, when they race them, there you go. So he just called them home. Whatever he's doing, he's clapping, he just called them home, but they just all landed at once right back over there at the house that they took off from. So he's definitely keeping them over there. Those aren't wild pigeons. So it was funny because when I was watching this documentary about the pigeons, the way they train them to race, I guess to get them to fly the fastest they can fly. What they do, pigeons have mates. I guess they're, a pigeon, it's like getting married. They have their mate for life. So what they do, they put the pigeon, the pigeon's in the cage with his girlfriend, his wife, so to speak, whatever. He's living life, right? He's got his old lady there. He's happy. He's at home. He's living life. Well, about a week before the race, what they'll do is take the female pigeon out of the dude's cage and put her in another pen somewhere where he can't see her. And the damn pigeon will just like pace back and forth the whole week. He's just fucking worried. He's upset. He's fucking discombobulated because he's like, where the fuck is my bitch? This old lady's not there. So for like a week, they'll make this poor pigeon worried as fuck because his old lady's gone, his mate for life, I guess for life. So right before the race, because what they're going to do, they're going to take the pigeon wherever they're going to take him, 20 miles away, whatever, and he's going to fly home. So what they do, like right before the race, is they put the female pigeon back in the cage. And so now the dude's all happy. Okay, my wife's been gone for a fucking week. Now she's back. Everything's wonderful in my life. They put her in there for a little while, and then they reach in there and grab that dude and say, come on, man, it's time to race. So the pigeon, all he's thinking about is getting back home to his old lady. I guess getting some ass. I don't know what he's thinking. But according to this documentary, that's what they do. So then they take the pigeon out, they let him loose, and that motherfucker is a man on a mission to get back to his bitch. That's what makes him fly faster and stay focused. Because he knows his bitch is back there. Maybe it's because he knows he's gonna get some pigeon ass. I don't know. But if you want to see some interesting stuff, just watch a documentary on pigeons. Interesting animals. But if you own a house or a building where there's a huge pigeon population, they are like rats with wings, but they're worse. They'll fucking build nests, they'll shit everywhere, you're constantly cleaning up pigeon shit. It will destroy concrete, fucking roof tiles. They're horrible. They're absolutely horrible. You know, if you own a building in a pigeon infested area, how the fuck they get to talking about pigeons? Oh, because the dude over there's flying his flock of pigeons. You don't see a whole lot of pigeons here in the Philippines because they'll barbecue them motherfuckers. They'll put them in a stew. I was down in south of Manila one time, you know, hanging out with this girl, and her brothers were cooking up some fucking pigeons. So I don't see a lot of pigeons here. I just don't. And I don't know why that dude's raising them. Maybe he's raising them for racing, or I don't know. I mean, if he's raising them for meat, I can't see him letting them fly around every day. What's the fucking purpose of that? So he must be raising them to race them. Maybe I'll stop by over there and ask that dude, hey man, what the fuck you doing with all these pigeons over here? Might be an interesting video. Enough about the pigeons. I was in there updating all my Apple devices. So I guess Apple pushed out an update. Not guess, they pushed out an update for everything. So I'm updating the laptop, iPad, iPhone. Let that run, keep everything updated. You know, I've started doing just more tech talk. Maybe you're interested, maybe you're not, but I've started doing more, pretty much most of my videos on the iPad Pro. Now, if you do videos on iPad Pro and you use, well, on an iPad, and you use iMovie, well, I guess iMovie in general, if you do 4K, it will automatically save it in 30 frames per second. So say you shoot in 24 frames per second. The way I understand it, when you save it, it's going to save it in 30. If you shoot 1080, it will save it in 60. So iMovie is pretty simple. If you're not, you know, particular about your videos, you want an easy, quick workflow, iMovie is very simple. But I shoot in 24 frames now. I like the look of 24 frames. So I went back to shooting in 24 frames per second because that's what I like. You know, it gives it more of that movie look. The 60 frames gives it that video game look, and I'm not into that. That's not me, not my generation. So with shooting 24 frames, I wanted to make sure it saves in 24 frames. So anyhow, I come across the program called LumaFusion. Now, I've read about it a long time ago, and it's only like 30 bucks, something like that. But holy crap, I am so glad that I spent the 30 bucks, whatever I spent, to buy LumaFusion. And so now I edit most of my videos on the iPad Pro with LumaFusion. It's too easy. It is, in my opinion, so much better than iMovie. It's so damn easy. I can save in the frame rate, the resolution that I want. I don't have to deal with iMovie's 30 frames per second when I'm saving in 4K. So if you're looking for an easy workflow to edit your videos and you have an iPad, and this is not an affiliate link. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just telling you. I am glad I spent the 30 bucks on LumaFusion, and it took me like an hour to learn how to use it. It's very similar to all the editing programs are pretty much the same for the most part. Took me about an hour to get used to it, but I really love LumaFusion and editing on the iPad Pro because I don't got to sit there at that desk. It's just easier for me to take that iPad wherever I go and work on videos. If I want to stand out here, it's just much easier than dragging a big ass laptop around. So LumaFusion, check it out. I'll put the link down in the description. It's not an affiliate link. Just if you're making videos and you got an iPad, that's the way to go. It's the way to go for me. LumaFusion.